Alright guys, this is out at Elizabeth Swain. Fence project. These are my measurements. Her husband's name is Tom. Really nice couple. Really nice yard. They're very particular. They did originally sign up for pre-stained pickets, but they want to match this pergola as close as possible. So we're gonna cancel doing pre-stained. We'll just do cedar, just raw, and then they'll have it stained after we install everything. That way they can make sure it's matched. So yeah, let's start over here. We got a little section here. It's gonna be 6 foot tall. We are gonna do Malala style. So it'll be doubled up pickets. So you do your pickets, you space them, I forget if it's 2.5 or 3 inches apart. I'll check, I have a shop drawing I can pull up and double check. But you space them, just use a block as a template kind of a thing and shoot them all up. And then you go over again with pickets again, right in between, to essentially cover that gap, but then you have it gapped here, picket covering that gap, etc., etc. So it's alternating, and then you don't see anything. It's completely private, closes all the gaps. It's really cool. But yeah, I'll show you the drawing for that so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Starting from that corner right there, all the way down to right there. It's going to be 8 foot tall. But yeah, I'm going to send him pricing. You might want to add some PT as kind of a retaining wall. So we would attach a 2x pressure treated to the postmasters at the base, and then keep the pickets up off out of the dirt, because it is a little taller on Elizabeth and Tom's side of the fence. They don't want pickets down in the ground. They also don't want it gapped so much that everything's, you know, the grade's not sloping down into the neighbor's yard. So if we do PT 2x at the base to close up that gap, and then keep the pickets about 1 inch to 2 inches off of the dirt across the front, just try to keep it as even as you can. That'll look great. And they do want all the pickets back here to be facing into their yard. So right now it's the opposite, but they're paying for it and they want the pickets on their side. So we do the postmasters, do all your rails. We'll do 3 rails, unless we do the 2x pressure treated. You can use that as your bottom rail essentially. And then do your post covers. So do a picket on the back of the postmaster so the neighbor isn't looking at steel posts. And then you can picket this whole side. Same everywhere else as far as this goes, except it goes from 8 feet down to 7. And I want this to essentially match the same layout. So we're gonna do 8 feet all right there. It'll drop down to 7 feet all right here. And then 6 feet right here in this little section. On this side, it faces the alley, so they would like the pickets facing the street out there. That way, if people walking by, they just see the nice pickets. But yeah, it'll only be 6 foot tall back here. Gate essentially in the same spot. We'll do 4 foot wide. And then they want to do a trellis and just kind of mimic this as best you can. So we'll do a couple little rails essentially, and some 2x2s on the top. And then I'll send some 2x6 and cut these little decorative pieces for that, for each side. Just mimic that as best you can. And then, like I said, they're not going to go with pre-stained, so they'll have it all stained after we're done installing. They do want the gate swinging the same direction, so it'll swing in towards their little shop there. This is the back of the yard. No gate on that side, obviously. That's just that short section of fence. Cool little deck. There's a outlet, it looks like, right there. And then there's water, I believe, over here. Yep, there's water right here. Oh, and there's power right there also behind the grill. But yeah, water right here if you need it for mixing concrete, getting things wet, cleaning up stuff. But yeah, I like that deck. It's nice. But yeah, should be relatively simple. Pretty flat backyard. Oh, another thing to note is they just had this like flower bed material put down, this nice soil. So when we dig holes for the new posts, make sure you don't throw dirt out into here. Just keep it in line with where the fence is going to be, and then rake it out nice. So at most it should only really be coming in like a foot away from the fence, but I told them we'd just try to keep it as clean as we can. That way we're not messing up all their soil. And then over there it doesn't matter as much. It'll be behind the trees, but just something to be mindful of. But you can always rake it out and push it on the neighbor's yard a little bit even. And the same thing over here. Just any dirt you dig up for the fence holes, just rake it out in line with the fence before you do your rails and stuff. That way it's, for the most part, where people aren't going to be walking or using anything. But yeah, and we'll do, we always like to do metal frames for the gates. Just make sure, you pick at one side, make it all nice, but then the other side, just rip some cedar sections and cover the metal. That way when you're standing back here, you're not just looking at a metal frame. And you always want to make sure all your posts are hidden and all that. That way you just look at it and you just see the wood. But yeah, I have an opening end of April, so I think we'll try to see if we can squeeze this in. Maybe see if Mike would want to mix it up and do a fence. He hasn't done a fence in a little while, so it's actually right down the street from Nicholas Swenson. They found us because they saw the pergola that Mike did and the sign, so they called us because of that. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, same neighborhood up here in Tacoma. I think eventually their plan is to have us redo all this stuff, but right now just that back area. But yeah, probably stage material in the backyard as needed, or even back here. Really nice yard though, so just be mindful, try not to tear the yard up too much. This is the front of the house right here. Let's walk over here real quick. So yeah. But yeah, so for this, we'll tear this out. Looks like that's on a stanchion. Interesting. We will run our wood over and we'll just clip to this post, since it's also attached to the neighbor's gate. Front yard out here. Not a super busy road, but yeah, can park on either side, which is nice. But yeah, I think Nicholas Swenson is like just down the street, around the corner. But yeah, anyway, should be a good one. Elizabeth and Tom seem really cool. Any questions, feel free to let me know. Thanks, guys.